I hope you guys are having a great day. I like to go over the darker grains with darker colors, and we're trying to make it look like if you have a slice of a geode, and you know how the geodes are always like not so pretty on the outside, you know, they're nothing to really look at, but then you slice that puppy open and it's like an amethyst field, or I call it girl next door rocks because it may not be real neat on the outside, but man, there's a lot inside, right? So I want that for this treasure box. So, and I've done a couple of them before, and I've used spackling to do it. Now, I've got a lightweight spackling, and when we get to that part, I'll show you what we're doing. And y'all, thank you for hanging out. You have it. You have your, oh, Cookie, you have your spit. I'm so happy. Seriously, prayed about that for you. Spit makes a difference. Oh my gosh. And it takes a while to play with it, to figure out what is going on. Kind of like if you were doing alcohol inks or a new medium altogether. But do you love it? I hope you love it. Of course it would be glittery. Not all of it, but there are metallics, Jeremy, and you know, there's regular, but it is jasmine scented and lemongrass scented and natural oils, y'all. Yay. Non-toxic. So yeah, it's a whole artsy experience. You also have the sparkling. Oh, man, because you do fairies and goddesses and stuff like that. Bravo. I love your brother, or whoever it was that brought it to you. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do instead of the geode part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, not right on it, but I'm going to use this to indent a hamsa. Okay, the other thing is I have like diamond glass chips, and these I love. They are glass, they're not plastic, but they're clear. So the clear is great for geodes. You want a lot of those crystals. I do a lot of those clear crystals, but you may not want all clear. And if you don't have a ton of money, or you know, and you're trying to save money here and there, you can take these glass, make sure they're not plastic, glass chips, and take your alcohol inks of whatever colors, and I like the T-Rex alcohol inks, the sparkling ones, and they come in a set like this, and it's so worth it because you know everything kind of goes together. Like I've got the earth tones over there and stuff, so it's easier for me, and I think beginners in general. So, but these are sparkling. So what you do is you get a dish and you drop out a bunch of your crystals in it, and then you just pour whatever color of crystals you want in the alcohol inks and mix them up. You can do several different colors in one dish, and then let it dry. Then spread it out on a paper plate and spritz it with a polyurethane spray. And I use like a Minwax, even though it says it's for wood, but it still works. Minwax spray, it's 15 minutes to dry. That's why I use it. But the Krylon is the same. So let it dry and brush it around, and then you've got lots of different colors of your little glass chips. And you can put them in there, and it's not going to run or anything. It's just fabulous. And then that's where I'm going to geode. You get it? I don't know. And I'm just thinking, if it doesn't end up looking like a hamsa, then I can just, you know, expand it in the geode, and then it's back to normal. So I have wet on this, and I'm just wiping it on. And the cool thing about spackling, y'all, is you can put it on dry, just right onto the box, or you can use gesso and then put it on right when the gesso is starting to dry. I've done that before. And then also when you have your spackling on, you can paint on it with unicorn spit, even when it's not fully dry yet. And it'll make different colors than when you wait till it's dry. So I do a little bit of both because, especially in geo with things like this, I want to really accentuate the differences of grain. So how I do it is just when it's light, I put my light, and where it's dark, I put my dark, and I try and make it thin enough where it doesn't just glob on. The unicorn spit is super concentrated. You're going to want to shake it really well. And I think I want to put mine, okay, well, these are good when you have a funnel. Found it. All right. I don't know how this is actually going to pour through this little needle thing. I might add alcohol to it, and you can do that, by the way. You can add alcohol to your unicorn spit. This is the metallic, and so I'm not ready for that yet. So I'm just going to use this, and it's called whitening is the name of it. But I always buy a big bottle of white and a big bottle of black because I think it's what really makes those other colors pop. So. Stole the funnel. Oh, bye, Jeremy. Thanks for popping in. And the gifts and everything. Okay, maybe I can just squirt it in. I won't even need a funnel. Look at that. So, I don't know how much to do. But I know for sure I'm going to add either a little bit of water or a little bit of alcohol. And you know what might be fun is to add the T-Rex clear blender that has sparkle in it to this white. Even though I said I'm not ready for sparkle yet. Yes, Cookie, where am I? Hold on. Okay, so, you know, when you're using the alcohol inks, it's important to get the 91%, 99, 91, it's like up there, right? Because that like lifts it, so you get those severe circles that are just clear in the middle of all this gorgeous. Okay, so that's that. If you use a alcohol blending solution, it is way below that. It actually just blends things and helps it to have a soft blend, soft edge, and not a hard line. So that's the alcohol blending solution. What I want with the unicorn spit is the 71, which I don't have, or around 70. And that, with this, works not like an alcohol ink, but it gives it a different flow. So what I'm going to use is the blending solution, which is what this is also. It's a clear blender with sparkle. So I'm going to sparkle it up. You have the 70. Well, you can make your own alcohol inks by doing that, just putting it in there and then adding a little bit of alcohol, and just add it a little bit at a time, alcohol, and keep shaking it until you get what you want out of it. That's why I like it, because you can make it as strong or as light as you want. Sweet Shannon. Oh, I bet you have been running. She has a girl and everything. She has a lot of kids and everything involved. But the last two I saw was Michaela, who was doing a softball championship thing, game after game after game. And then, oh, these things just drive me crazy, but they do help. So just put that little loop on first, and then twist it on. Anyway, I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. Um, so yeah, she was into the softball and all that, and then she did the music thing on stage the next day or whatever. We just got back from California, seeing Shannon's brother, my son. Oh my gosh, that was such a fun time. We came back exhausted, but we have a thing that's we can sleep later when we're on vacation. That's what we say. We can always sleep later. It took us 3 days to recoup, and I'm sure we did the same to them. We wore them out. So I think that's good. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to squirt all over the place, but all right. Let me just put it on the light and see what happens. Oh, see, I love these little bottles. I get them from Amazon because you can just get a whole bunch of them for nothing and use them for a whole bunch of different things. So, looking for a somewhat clean brush. Let's see, I just want to spread that in a little and see if I can see white or if I'm just... Okay, that's pretty cool. I do like that. All right, so we're gonna continue a little bit more white. And when you're doing the treasure box, it's my personal preference, you do you, but I really think when you're trying to make something look like one whole cohesive rock, it's best to keep the line coming from one side all the way around to the other. Then you can do whatever you want as long as you get around that corner. And it's also good to come up over the natural line of the box, and it seems to kind of break up, you know, like where it opens and closes, kind of breaks it up in your eye, so it's easier to make it look like a rock instead of a box. That's just things that I have found. You can go back down again. Just enjoy creating your own little geode. And all of this, you know, it's subject to be covered up because I change my mind a lot and I allow myself to do that. Sometimes it works for me really good and sometimes it doesn't, but the most important thing for me when I get in my studio is to just relax and watch how things flow and chase after images that pop up in my art that I didn't expect. I love that. I love that about art. And I spent a lot of the first part of my painting experience doing portraits, of people, which you cannot just do anything you want. I mean, you can as far as, you know, what the leeway they'll give you, but you still have to make it look like a person, the person. So when I stopped doing portraits, I actually really fell in love with just chasing down whatever the paint shows me or the unicorn spit. And I was telling my son about it when we were in California recently. I said, I call it unearthing. And it's just where you add just a bunch of free-flowing colors and all of a sudden you take your little brush and start poking around and something pops up and it looks like something, a bear or a butterfly or whatever, and you just start going ahead and letting it become that. I think it wants to become that. The rest of this, and you don't have time, go to Cape Charles Art on YouTube sometime this week. So let's add another color, but let me put some on here because we know that this is going to be a geode of some sort. Spit code in the bio? Yeah, the link is in there. The link is in my bio on Cape Charles Art and YouTube, Cape Charles Art and Facebook, Melody Gleason Art on TikTok, and Instagram I can't even remember. It's Melody G. I don't do Instagram much. And I don't know. I don't know why. I guess you just can't do everything. I can't. All right, so this is what's weird is you're going to try and keep your orientation. You know, you got holes drilled for your latch and your hinges. So try to keep your orientation straight, because when you start painting designs on it, you could actually have turned it around without thinking or knowing. And I have done that. It's no big deal. Most people probably would have filled in the hole and drilled more, but I just went ahead and painted it again. But it's easy to do that. You wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. The bad thing about this treasure box is, see, the grain's going this way, but then when you turn it, then it's going this way. But that's okay, because we're going to spackle this. I'm just coloring it because sometimes the color will seep through the spackling, and that's a pretty cool thing too. So let me do some black, Midnight's Blackness. And I think I'm just going to put it straight on. So I'm going to have this. This is my back. This is my front. So I guess it doesn't really matter because it's all going to be covered anyway. I'll just dump it on. The Midnight Blackness is super uber concentrated. I'm going to just I'm going to create it going in the right direction as much as I possibly can by doing something like that. And again, I want to cross down over where it separates. And already, to me, it's starting to look geodish. I'm happy about that. I was going to do just all black and white with some gray. And now it looks like a zebra. One of our sons has been playing with that AI stuff, and he did an animal mashup between a kitten and a zebra. It's adorable. That I wanted to paint it, but then I knew people would say it looks like a zebra or it looks like a kitten when it's supposed to be the other. They wouldn't have got it, I don't think. I don't know, maybe. So now I'm just going to blend it. I'm going to make that a little more smoky. All of this is probably going to be covered, but you never know, because I could change my mind. So I might as well just do it like I mean it. And you can do this any way you want, a million gazillion times over. So fun. And when you get the spackling on and you put resin over it, there's nothing like it. Let me show you. I'm going to grab this painting right fast. But I wanted to show you because if you don't want to do treasure boxes, then you don't have to. This is a canvas. And it's spackling. And I just put the spackling, you know, for the beach and the lighthouse and the bird and that driftwood. Not pretty. So, and then resin the fire out of it. But, you know, and that's just a canvas. So I wouldn't go for a really large canvas because of the, you know, the sag of it. But if you were going to do that, then before you even get started, just pour resin, a light layer in the back of your canvas and let it flatten out, you know, level out, and it'll be just like this when it's time to do the front, so you won't have any give. That's good for any time you're painting large pieces with textures and things like that. Clear ones. So I was still trying to figure out what I was doing, but it turned quite yellow, I think, too yellow, but still kind of pretty. And again, that's just the spackling, cheap little Dollar Tree or Dollar General spackling. And you know what a difference it makes in art. And if you don't resin, then I would not recommend spackling. I would go for epoxy sculpt or something like that, because shipping it or anything like that, it's liable to flex and pop off. But when you've got it resined, it soaks into that and it's not going anywhere. So lid section for 1 minute. Stop talking so much. Let me get it started. All right. Okay, the spackling I am not putting on the edges at all. The spackling only goes on the top because I don't like to resin edges. So, if you do great, you can put it all over. I do not. I will continue to work on the sides later. But for right now, let's get some spackling out and get started on that. Doesn't matter what kind you get. And just start putting it down on top of your treasure box or your canvas. You can see it start picking up. Boy, this looks really dry. I'm gonna mist it with a little bit of water. You can see it start picking up the black and the white underneath, which is cool because it's gonna be rock-like, hopefully. Get back to where, you know, I don't care. You know, you have to do social media because that's where I get connection. You know, that's where I can connect with people and show them how to do stuff and learn how to do stuff. And so that's hugely important. But sometimes those statistics and everything it's a bummer to look at. Because you think, well, this one's really exciting, this one will do really good, and then it just goes flat. And, you know, that's when I have to watch in my own self that my joy stays with the creation and the interaction. And it doesn't come from how many times it's been played, though I do hoop and holler when I get something that's been played over 1,000, because it's a rare thing. But, you know, I have to refocus. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not complaining. I'm in training, okay? I think we're all in training. That's what we're doing here, clearly. So, but, you know, it's a journey. It's all a journey. Talking with my son in California, and he's got lots of different avenues in his art. He's into wood carving and beautiful work, and he can do sculpting. The sculpting was amazing, and he did fruit and he did a finger and it was fabulous. Anyway, and then he's a photographer, and he's honing that skill. And while he's doing all of that, you know, I told him it's actively waiting before somebody buys a piece or you get your website set up. You're still actively waiting by, even if you're not creating art, you're thinking about art, or you're thinking about how you can learn to do this or that, or, you know, finding another copyright-free piece of music. So there's always stuff you can be doing around the art while you're waiting. You know what I'm saying? For things to happen. Like, I'm waiting for a brick and mortar store to be built. But in the meantime, I'm painting and creating like crazy. I don't know if I should wet it down. I don't think so. And then I'm going to take this. Just see if I can make just a print, an imprint of it all the way to, I'll use that, all the way to the wood. I'm not trying to. This is the back of the box. Remember the orientation I was talking about? Make sure your orientation is right because of the hinges. That's the front, and my hand is sideways. That's okay. One more time. I'm going to do this box. Set it apart. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I like the way it feels. It is always worth trying new things. That's how I discover. And you know, that's the cool thing about mixed media is there's no end. It's like that cup from Bluebird. It's mad science and art therapy all in one. I love it. All right. So, let me see. Let me let this dry for just a second while we mess with the edges again. Get them wet. I'm definitely gonna have to add color to this. You know, I've got the powder pigments as well that you can mix in your pouring mediums or acrylic gel that's clear, and that is beautiful for geodes, and you can just go ahead and coat it with resin afterwards. You can mix it in with resin if you wanted to pour it resined. Yeah, so if you use your brushes with your spackling, you're gonna have to really, really wash it out. That's all. I have to look up Hamsa again because the only reason I found it is because I love bohemian looking stuff. I don't know what it is about it. I'm drawn to it and always have been. And along with it comes all of this cool, you know, the evil eye thing and the Hamsa and the whole thing. So I'm a curious creature and I love learning about everything. So I remember looking it up and learning about it, but now I can't remember. I'm going to have to do it again. But anyway, I just think it's very cool. If I had it my way, all my way, it wouldn't be good. But my house would be so bohemian, it wouldn't even be funny. How do you say that? You can't tell me. Anyway, let's put some of that in. I just want to put it in on the side, which is actually the front. I'm going to use that same brush. And this is the metallics. I'm going to go up and across. And I think that the hardware is bronze on this, but I'm not sure. But if it is, that would be cool. And if not, that's okay too. Just want some brown. And it doesn't have to, you know, it doesn't have to make sense. Just put colors on to start with. That's what I do, because otherwise I could sit in a studio all day wondering which should I start with. So instead, now I just grab a color and go. If it's wrong, that's fine. I can go over it. You know? Time's a wasting. I'll put some more white in that too. Oh, I have this white. Do that. Shake it. And this got some alcohol ink in it. Not alcohol ink, no. It has either the clear blending solution or it has the sparkle, and I cannot remember which one it was. Either way, it's the same alcohol. It's a blending alcohol, blending solution. Oh, see, look how when you put it over the brown, it just gives that rocky brown look where it meets together, it blends together. That's what we're going for, that smoky look. I don't know how much color I want on the outside of this. So, just want to make sure it's coming around right. How's my Homsa hand? Is it hanging in there? Am I knocking it off? I'm getting fingers. But look, you can just keep working with this. Nice and wet. I love spackling. It's so fun. In your art, even on canvases, you guys. Give it a go for sure. And you know, it's like $1, $2. It's cheap. Thing is, you know, you are going to have to resin it is the only thing. But if you've been hesitating but wanting to get into resin, then perfect, right? This may be the thing that gets you going. Okay, this one's going to be more brown, big. This is the back. Coming around the side so it has somewhat of the same flow. I'm also just do the bottom as well. I like a 360 treasure box, so looks like the whole thing is finished. All of these parts that I'm digging out with my fingers, I'll just tap back some more in. I'm not worried about it right there. You can always go back. Uh-oh. The right hand you're going to spend money and the left hand is itching that you get money. Do you know that? It's not true. I mean, it might be true. It's just a rumor. But my right hand's itching and I have an Amazon cart that's full. I'm guessing it's true. It's art supplies. I can justify it. However, I do have to put my own order in for unicorn spit. I need some colors and I need that Zeus, that gold. Oh boy, do I ever. This one comes up like that. I'm starting to see it. I'm getting excited about that. My thing is usually I start smaller because everything grows. The sun, the moon, fairy wings, little tiny fairy and huge fairy wings. So, but by doing the imprint, I'm kind of in an outline and it's keeping me where I need to be. And so that was cool, kind of like using a stencil. Let's get some white. Some Celine. That is the somewhat iridescent white. It's going to go smack dab in the middle. Using unicorn spit, just dip it in the water and wipe it once you twist it back down, and that way you won't have a problem with it clogging up. Most generally. I figure if I'm painting something in here, I like the white part to be somewhat, you know, centered-ish. So I can paint something to feature like a silhouetted tree or whatever, and it's going to stand out because of the white in the back. I'm hoping also I can follow along that little thumb-looking thing, kind of help the eye see that sticking out. Welcome, Scarlett. We are playing in Spackling today. Making a Hamsa geode treasure box, of course. Yeah, these are definitely going to have crystals on it and stuff. But I think it would be pretty to make kind of like I did. Let me find it. Hold on. So this is I believe, the same Hamsa hand. I just slapped it on there and then started detailing. And that's unicorn spit alcohol ink and acrylics. It's pretty cool. And it was a little thrift store find. And those, the moon and crescent pools are made of epoxy sculpt. So that was kind of fun. So that Hamsa hand I've already done once with the little silhouette tree and stuff, and I like the way that turned out. So that may be what's in here along with some crystals and things. I don't know. Welcome, Niad. Okay, so now what? Let's go ahead and put some more rocky looking. Ooh, it's starting to firm up a little bit, so I might care a little bit more about what the top is looking like. Hold on. Except it's all going to be resined eventually anyway, with lots of crystals. I could put crystals around the hand and then do the painting inside the hand. Possibilities are endless. I gotta get this stuff off my hands for 1 second. So how is everybody doing? Anybody have time to do any art out there? So Social Security office said I am retired. So I celebrated. And hubby is retiring in something like 39 days. So this is a brand new chapter for us in our life. We are so excited about it. And it's so funny because the Social Security guy, he was down there and he said, oh, I said, I'm just excited for him to retire. And he looks to Troy and says, oh, she's got you a honey-do list. And he said, yeah. And I was like, when have I ever had a honey-do list for him? But he was like, oh, yeah. The Watcher, I'm great. How are you? How are you doing? We are making a Hamsa geode treasure box. Hamsa hand. Just in the throes of it. The thick of it. I like that thick part actually up here. I really do. As a matter of fact, I could even get it a little bit more defined. That would not hurt my feelings at all. But so yeah, and I got my first retirement money from Social Security. And I have to say, if they expected me to live on that, I would be homeless. So I am so thankful for my husband and his Social Security. I am not kidding you. I am not. It was horrible. Oh, you're good. Happy. Yeah, I am that old. Yes, ma'am, I am. I mean, that's my daughter. Of course, she does look young, I have to admit. Oh, you are young, Shannon, compared to me. I was just trying to say. I don't know what I was trying to say. This is where my husband would tell me, drop the shovel. All right, I am liking the fade. Oh gosh, I don't know what to put in it, but I'm just excited to have one, you know? I'll push this thumb back up a little bit more. That's what's so neat about this spackling, you guys, is you just push it around, and when it starts getting, like, not right after you put it on, but like now, it's been what, an hour? And I'm still able to work with it and move it around, and it's so much better now because it doesn't just all of it, a big chunk of it move. It's just what I'm messing with. So an hour is great to start working with it. Those things, I just know, and then I forget, and then the next time I know it again. Oh, I'm loving it. You know, even if I just put crystals of those colors, it wouldn't matter, because under resin, that is going to be the coolest box, is it not? Like, yes, it is. Yes. How much can you earn without reducing? Oh yeah, it's like what is it, $500 or something like that? I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it because I don't have to worry about it. But, you know, I remember my mom, bless her heart, hers would have been the same if it wasn't for my dad, you know. So it's just, you know, you spend your time being mom, or, you know, here and there jobs. Like my gymnastics was one of my favorites, but I only had it for 5 years. And my military, that was only 4 years, you know. In between then, you're having babies or being a wife and taking care of the home. I mean, that was my heart, you know. So that's what I did, but that doesn't count, apparently, according to the government. But so it's really nice that, you know, they do make it count when he does retire. So that's good. It's just something I never really thought about until now. Just got lost in here for a moment, people. Oh, I like using the dark around the thumb just as a natural, growling at a natural. So then maybe the palms could be a little lighter. I don't know. Yeah, I still want to just put trees, but this is really wet. I'd like to paint on that when it's dry. And I know I won't have another live until next Tuesday as far as like sitting down, here you are, this is what we're doing live. But I will be popping this on while I'm working on this. So, so I'll have a full video to post later to Cape Charles Art on YouTube for anyone to follow along and make your own. And I hope when you do, you come back and show me, because it really is so fun. And I want to hear about the process and what you found to do with it. That's the joy of being here with other artists, is hearing their processes too. I love it. There's a Unicorn Spit group on Facebook, and everyone has questions all the time because it's just not that popular of a paint medium yet. So it's so neat to hear what they've done and what they tried and how it worked for them. Just a little bit more bulk on the white to give some dimension on the palm. So, I hope, I guess I just better stop messing with it and let it just dry. You can use a heat gun to hurry it up a little bit, but I think I don't want to do that. And I am going to leave that ridge that's on there because I like it. So there it is so far, the Geode Hamsa treasure box. And I'm not even going to worry about the sides. I want to figure out what's happening on the inside before I decide how I'm going to design the rest of it. So that just came to me, because if I do trees and all that, I might want to put leaves and stuff like fossil-y leaves on the side, but I don't know. So I'm just going to let it dry, and I'll pop back on when I start working on it again. And I thank you all for joining me today and just hanging out and letting it be a long, probably somewhat boring for you all, but I appreciate it a lot. Aw, Bull Dreamer, thank you so much, and thank you for your subscription. I really appreciate you and Chunky Vegan so much. Regular drywall, spackling, yes, exactly. Thank you, Shannon, for keeping up with all the questions. And you all, if you have questions that I've missed, just DM me, and I would be more than happy to talk about the entire process with you. That is my heart, is to share creation and that whole process with others. So I thank you for hanging out with me today and doing my first Hamsa Geode treasure box. I hope if you're going to do it that you do share your pictures and the story, especially the story of how it became. So love and light to everybody, and you have a beautiful day. Bye, honey. Thank you, Shannon. Bye, guys.